Okay, hey guys. Good to see all your faces or on or off camera. Happy Monday. Is anybody else on vacation right now or are y'all still home? I know next week's the big vacation week. You are, Melissa? Where are you?
Well, not much of a vacation. I'm in hot Texas right now,
Oh,
but just got back from Mexico. Just picked up my kid from camp.
oh, so fun. You went to Cabo, right?
I went to Cancun or Playa del Carmen.
Oh, so fun.
Headed back to California this week.
Oh, do you have family in Texas then?
Yes, my husband and I both are from here. So my parents live here and my son went to camp for 2 weeks here while we were in Mexico.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so fun. Congrats, by the way. I started a new thing. I don't know if you guys saw last week. I think I'm here. Let me hit off on here. Oh, here comes Kiana. I started a thing last week, and I'm going to start doing this every Monday. When we welcome new people, I'm going to send them a quick welcome video and just kind of how to go through the kit and that sort of thing. Because I do think that getting people using it consistently and properly right away makes a huge difference. And anyway, my point, Melissa, is I was going through the last several months of people and just, introducing myself, and half, maybe a third to a half of all the ones I sent, and it was quite a few, were your team. So congrats on you're totally killing it.
Thank you. Try.
All right, you guys. So y'all tell me what you want to chat about today. Because I know a bunch of you are going for different goals. A lot of you are going for Cabo. A bunch of you are trying to promote, or have it beating your best month, or really kind of getting your 10-5-2. So you guys tell me what would be most helpful to chat about, and we can talk about that. So Amy, why don't you catch us up on all your stats? Because Amy is hitting the ground running with her launch. It's pretty insane watching you in action. So you've really been going at this. You started the last 2 weeks of last month?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us exactly what you're doing to get all of these sales. What came from your actual launch, but also most of your sales though has come from one-on-one reach outs, right? So it's just been you consistently running the numbers, correct?
So I am at, oh my goodness, I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm at 6,500 in sales, I think.
It's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, 6,577. Before my launch event, I was at 1,500. And then a decent amount came in from that, but then more have been coming in too. And I've just been following up with people. People are so busy right now, and a lot of people had interest when I first started promoting, and just haven't ordered yet. So it's just a lot of follow-up. I'm trying to, I have 2 people on my team now. I'm trying to help one get to 1,000 in sales, and then another one I'm going to try to help launch. Everyone is so busy. So I'm in New Jersey. We just finished school last Thursday. So people are just kind of overwhelmed. So my goal for this week is really to just wrap up as much as I can. I had a couple other people interested in the business, but they just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So it's just a matter of time, I think. And that's really it, I guess. I part of my launch, I did a bit of a fundraiser for my friend's son's charity. And that really helped because she helped to promote, and then, I'll make a donation to her and to the charity, and people really like to participate in stuff like that too. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I love the idea of a charity launch. And it's funny because I used to do it in my old business all the time. And it was such a great way to use the business for good, but also get into major new social circles. It is amazing how many people you are introduced to when you're willing to donate to that charity. So I love that idea. I think it's a brilliant way to, one, it's obviously the most important is being able to leverage your business for good, to be able to help somebody else. But 2, so many new people in your network. And 3, it is a tax write-off. So everything that you donate, you can decide what percentage and all of that, but it's also a tax write-off. So it's really a win-win to do a charity event. It's a great way to bring in quick sales as well. You're a great example of that, but also kind of helping somebody else spread the word. And so I like the idea of almost having like a charity hostess where they have their own, you know, PC account, and then they can share their friend share link
Mhm.
so that they can rack up a bunch of free product credits like that. So it's almost like they're hosting a show, but it's going to be a charity show. You know exactly kind of what's coming in from them because they're sharing their friend share code rather than your friend share code. And then they're going to rack up a ton of product credits that way. So
We did that. When she shared her friend share code. At the event, we used mine to cover like the cost of the items that I used for display. So that's the way we agreed to do it, but that's what we did too. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I loved another tip for those of you who didn't get on last week. Amy talked about how, because a lot of us have been doing paper order forms at events just because we weren't quite sure about the technology. And so we kind of just started erring on the side of paper, but the technology has actually come really, really far. And the way Amy did it at her event was she texted people the friend share code. They pulled up the order and did it on their phone in front of her. So when they hit like bumps, like, oh, wait, how do I see? Because it's not the super mobile friendly thing. Like it's hard to see where the save button is and all of those things. So that way she could walk them through. And what was great about that is the next time they went to go place their own order, they knew exactly how to navigate it. So she had it right then and there. They checked out on their phone, but she could be there. She wasn't like, go home and order. She's like, let's do it right here in front of me. Get all your info in there. Get your order placed, and then I'll help you make sure that it all goes through and has it the way you want. So then she could be like, oh yeah, choose preferred customer because of this, or here's where you're going to find your friend share code afterwards, which I think is brilliant because I do think that I think as our technology is growing, we're obviously such a new company. What you don't want is to send a link to somebody and then they get stuck. I think it's much easier to do on the computer, but I think it has come leaps and bounds since this past summer when a lot of us started. So love, love, love that. Okay, Kristen, you're up. Tell us what you're doing because you had 2 points to knock out this month to get to Cabo, right? So
Yes.
where are you in that process?
I'm at 1,500. Yay! And my sweet husband, I didn't think he understood all this stuff. And he's like, can't you buy some products? And I'm like, I can, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. So I want to really do this. And I have 3 identified interested people from all my follow-ups the last couple weeks who I'm trying to nail down today or tomorrow because I just want to go out strong and just have them place their orders, and it's good for them to get that anyway. So
Allison, Carl, and I were just chatting about that this morning, and we were trying to think of like, you know, things that people need to get in right now to get their order. And I was getting ready to do a post about it in my stories, but 4th of July is next week. I think it's either next Monday or Tuesday. And CBD pet treats, like dogs go nuts over fireworks. So I'm going to do a big post about, you know, make sure you order in the next day or two to get your CBD pet treats in time. Like I actually forgot mine at the beach and we're going to be down here with 5 dogs. And I was like, oh my God, I've got it. And I just placed my order and it's on the way here. So being, you know, talking about how fast the shipping is and you're going to get it in time for 4th of July. That's like immediate sales. The other big one too, I think everyone is throwing on bathing suits right now and the digestive health jellies and metabolism boost, I think would be really, you know, especially as they're sitting there in their bathing suit, like, oh my God, you know, showing how that can help with bloating and just slimming and, you know, increasing your metabolism and all those good things. I think those are 2 like, you know, grab them now kind of things.
and I just want to, and this is just like for fillers, for orders and points and things, just so you guys all remember, if you're really close to getting just to 1,000, even for promoting or for anything, just remember that the samples and everything, those count as personal volume. So you may not get commission on them, I don't think, but it does count as your volume.
Yeah.
So when you go and place those $49.95 order, you know, to get the 5-pack or the 10-pack of samples and stuff, that goes towards your PQV.
Oh.
So I had a big golf tournament for a charity event come, and they actually they paid for it. I didn't pay for it, but they got 250 samples.
Oh.
And so that was one of the big things. So you can do that. And then we put a cute label on it for the golf tournament. And then I actually created them as an advocate. So they have their own link because they have quite a few golf tournaments a year. So just keep some of these fun other alternate ideas in mind, like outside the box.
Oh, so they joined as an advocate and then ordered a bunch of samples to hand out on the various events.
Yeah, we put them in everyone's goodie bags. So,
Oh.
but I actually helped them do that, and I created a separate email, and so I'm actually kind of in charge of it all. And I paid the $50, the $40 or $50 just to join as a advocate with a basic kit. And then we put it all under them. So we haven't seen many orders come through yet, but you're hoping that when guys get it and women in their goodie bags and everything, and it said to check out the pain cream and all that stuff. And I put a little flyer. We put a flyer in there too with their name and the charity's name and everything as part of the website.
Oh, I love that. And we actually did a little setup at a tennis event. Courtney and I, Fleming, not the other Courtney, but Courtney and I did a tennis event. We set up at a tennis tournament, and she took her boxes and cut them into like 3 cards so that like you could see the visual of like just the jellies or just the pain cream, and had those on the table, and like people were grabbing them left and right. So then people can kind of pick and choose. And then every box is like 3 separate samples to pass out as well. And just visually, it's really pretty that way too. Okay, cool. I love it. Carol, what's happening with you?
Hit unmute. I'm back. I had a crazy, I have as many of us have full-time jobs. I had like some crazy stuff going on. I have at my networking meeting this Thursday, I'm a presenter. I'm the presenter. So I'm going to be talking about that and some of them are my clients, which is great. They've already tried it. And then I have an appointment right afterwards with this hearing company, which is, he's a big advocate for CBD and he didn't really know about Green Compass. And I met him at that Health Fest. I think I told you that I got invited to the Health Fest, and then they said, oh, sorry, CBD companies can't be part of it. And then all of a sudden then they said, yes, you can. Well, he was the advocate to get me on it, because he said, if you don't allow her in, I'm withdrawing.
Wow.
He was the one that started it. So it'll be interesting. So I'm going in as sort of as a new client for them, and then as an advocate, see what I can do with Green Compass there. So I feel like, oh my God, I lost traction. I was so upset about it. And I've been kind of, kicking myself. But you know what? It's funny, when I joined Weight Watchers, it's like 6 years ago, and I would go off, if you go off the rail, you know what you do the next day? You start over.
Yep.
You just wipe the slate. You don't give yourself any like negative talk. You just do it. I'm actually really interested, Kristen, in the golf part of this. Are you a golfer yourself?
I am, but this came from a connection from my accounting business. It was one of my accounting clients.
Oh, okay, great. I mean,
But you could offer, you talk to somebody before right when the golf tournaments are starting to, get planned, and it's $5 per little box to put in the goodie bags. And they were putting, granola bars and sunscreen and this and that. And I was like, well, what about these sample boxes?
Yeah.
So they paid for them.
Oh my God. Okay, good. I mean, my sister's a big golfer. She loves that reduced cream. I mean, they are just, I like to get her on the nano jellies or whatever, but anyway, and I'm sorry in a way that they're not printing the pamphlets, the booklets, because there's some people that actually really like that, and she was one of them. I mean, I forgot to give her one. I've got to pop it in the mail. She's in New Hampshire right now. I'm in Massachusetts, so she's in New Hampshire. So, I mean, all good. I mean, it's just, it's the numbers game too, just getting back in the saddle. My oldest client is 92. And I got her the nano jellies. I wanted to start off like easy, but it's not helping her pain any. And so I just reached out to Allison this morning, and she said either the 750 or the 1,000 full spectrum. So that's after the call, I'm going to reach out to her. She's like, Carol, I'm not sensitive to painkillers. And I'm like, okay. But
1,000 then. Definitely do 1,000. If she's not sensitive to painkillers, give her the 1,000 at least.
Yeah. So 1,000 she's getting. So I was like, but I was like worried about her balance, or, for me, I'm so sensitive to stuff. Like I even alcohol, I drink this much and I'm looped, So with me, with a full spectrum THC, I could take some. And if I wait too long to go to bed, I literally drop over, seriously. So anyway, so that's my spiel right here. I miss Cabo. I don't think I don't have enough points to get to the end, to
You
make
never
it.
know, 4 days, but yeah, we're gonna have plenty more. They're gonna do so many trips, but I love the idea of doing a network meeting. Like that is such a great way to get into new social circles. And I know Amy on Carrie's team did one. She's a part of a networking group, and the week that she hosted, her sales went like through the roof. So it's definitely, especially if you're the speaker and you're the one that gets to like kind of share the benefits and help them place the order right then and there at the events. I think it's a brilliant way to get in front of new people.
I have one last question. How's everybody doing with the new Metabolism Nano? Is anybody, I've been taking it. Are you doing well with it?
I love it so much. My appetite is way down.
Okay.
I definitely feel a major difference, but here's what I'll tell you. Emily told me when she was down here at the leader retreat, she's like, oh my gosh, all my girls that are like really fit are all just taking like 3 or 4 a day. And I was like, we can take that many a day. And so I upped my number. I probably take like 1 in the morning, definitely 1 like late afternoon, sometimes 1 in the evening, just kind of depending on, but I'm like, it does make a difference when you have a little bit more.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No idea if that's a bad thing, but I mean, it's just black pepper and apple cider. How bad can it be, right?
I know I have, I first thing in the morning I take one, and I was so now I'm back to 2, but I have gone off the rails too. I mean, there's parties and stuff, and I like, oh my God, I never used to do this, but anyway, so I just was curious to know. So I'm gonna take my second one soon.
Yeah, Melissa, were you gonna say something? I think you're muted.
I just had a question, or looking for some help verbiage. So I'm in East Texas where I grew up. Reached out to a couple of friends here, hoping to try to either get new clients or advocates. And I've run into the fact that another mutual friend of ours has been with a different company for a while and has kind of run through a lot of the people here we know in common. She did agree, she wanted to talk to me. So I'm just looking for some verbiage as far as questions to ask her, not to compare or, pull her from another company or anything, but just if she's curious to talk to me, is she curious, to try to recruit me, or is she just curious because she's not happy? But just looking for some pointed questions I can kind of, ask, or things to ask.
Yeah. So
She is with another CBD company.
Another CBD company? Okay, so that's a little different. I was like, if it's another company,
Right? Yeah. No. I know how to
looking away, but
yeah.
so I think you're just gonna share what we've got. So don't compare it to like what she has, but she knows what she has, right? So she knows what it is. So I think talking about all the things that set us apart, definitely, obviously USDA certified organic and how important that is, and how 80% of CBD comes from China, those stats, and full of toxins. China uses it as a way to clean their environment. So it's a scavenger plant that absorbs all the toxins. And because most people don't know it, we actually have a guy on our team who worked at Carytown Hemp for years, like really for several years. And when he joined our team and we started talking about that, I was like, is the hemp there? I was like, is that USDA organic? And he's like, I have no idea. So they don't even talk about that in their store. Which
I know theirs is not organic. Supposedly it is made here in the United States.
Okay, so that's huge. So organic, especially with something like hemp, I think if you explain this, and again, their company's not going to explain it like this, but if it's not USDA certified organic, it just absorbs. It's one of those plants that just suck everything up.
Clean crop.
So if you're taking it as a healthcare product and you're taking it to improve your health, you don't want to take something that's toxic. You know what I mean? So I think explaining that, also talking about the fact that we only get it from the flower. We don't use stems or leaves. So a lot of companies out there use stems or leaves, which is just basically a bunch of empty filling. We also use CO2 extraction. So even companies that are organic, if they use a wrong extraction process, it's going to break down the CBD and the impact of it in the extraction process. The fact that we're vertically integrated and we own everything from the farm to the lab to it's shipping it out to our front doorstep. So because of that, we have a very, very rich comp plan because there's no middleman, there's nobody else to pay. So it's the best comp plan I've seen in this industry. I actually had one of Kevin's fraternity brother's wives when I first started doing this. She's like, "Are you crazy?" She's like, "I own a CBD company." She's like, "Come do it with me." And when I looked into what her comp plan looked like, and she's like, "I just don't understand how Green Compass is growing so fast." She's like, "We have been doing the exact same amount of time and we're just not growing." And I looked, and major thing was the comp plan. They just don't pay as well. And so that's so important in a business like this. I think there's so many people who go into another business, and I've seen this really over my 13 years, and well, now 14 years in this industry. You can work really, really, really hard. And if you don't have a comp plan, you're not going to make a good income. So I
And
think,
they're done that.
yeah, I totally, like, there are so many go-getters out there that, like, you know, push off this industry because they're like, I wasn't making any money. You know, the fact that they get $100 if she sells a medium kit, the fact that she gets $170 if she sells a large kit, like, that's insane. Like, we have people who work for corporate for other companies who are like, I've never seen a comp plan like this. Like, it's really the richest comp plan I've seen. So I think if you just share the benefits of what we have and don't point out what she doesn't have, she's going to know that already.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just saying, you know, a company that's really doing everything right. And because using things like what's happening in the CBD space isn't going to make a difference because she's in the CBD space too. So those are
Right.
the ones. Does anyone else have any other opinion on that? Like what you would point out to her?
You said we use the flower only. Is that what the word you said?
Mm-hmm.
And no stem.
Yep, no stems and no leaves. So the flower is where all the CBD is concentrated. It's really where most of the cannabinoids are concentrated. So you can imagine if you get a bottle that's full of just the densest, purest part versus all this other garbage that just fills it up.
So in my thoughts on that, seeing as I'm still new and learning too also, is that why people can take a lower dosage versus other companies where they're taking higher dosages?
So I think one thing really was the nanotechnology for that. So in terms of our jellies and our hydrates and things like that use that nanotechnology, that high absorption rate is one reason we can have such a low rate, because we're absorbing 94%. So that is where that percentage comes in. But I think, I mean, it's just there's so many different, you know, brands and what they have. Like, I've had so many customers who looked at whatever they were using and they were like, I have like no grams in this at all. Like, there's barely any CBD in there. So I would have to see what the comparison was, but yes, the high absorption rate's one thing. But yes, it is going to be all, you know, very, you know, potent because of the richness of the CBD.
All right.
Question, just a quick question on the extraction process. I don't really know much about that at all. Kelly.
So I know it's so funny. Like, I'm rattling this stuff off and I'm like, I didn't know this like months, you know what I mean? It's like, you hear it enough and all of a sudden it just rolls off your tongue. But yeah, that's one of the really cool things. I guess there's a lot of different ways that people extract CBD from hemp. And if it's really, really easy to destroy the health benefits of CBD if you don't do it properly. And CO2 extraction is very expensive. So most companies don't use it. So even someone who's organic, they grew it right, when they extract it out, it just it's a good chance that it's going to lose its impact.
I'm sorry, you said COT?
CO2, like carbon dioxide.
CO2. Okay, gotcha. CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Did you guys see the cute images? I think I shared them on the team page. If not, I'll share them right now. Emily passed on these awesome visuals. Amy, do you remember who made those? I can't remember who made them. She just sent them. She texted them to us a couple days ago. They are great visuals. And Carol, especially for your people who want a piece of paper to hold, they're beautifully done. It's only 2 pages and it breaks down all the products and kind of how they work.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll post them while we're talking.
One thing I did do before that Wellfest, I went to a printer and I had all these things laminated, you know, so that I had them on a table like that. So that'll be something that I'll do show and tell when I do this on Thursday, because I have 20 minutes for a presentation. You kind of introduce yourself, give them your background, and then you go right into your business. So.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick post that has these 2 new images and also the kit purchases, because people are always asking about that. I'm gonna put them all together. So I'm gonna put some must-have printouts.
Did you see the new catalog that we got the email for this morning?
Oh no, that it's just like a virtual.
Yeah, it's a PDF. You can download it. It's really nice.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's in our email. I just got it this morning and I already looked at it.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
All right.
it's in the Advocate connection. If you scroll down, it says new catalog alert, and then
yay.
Oh, good.
view the catalog, and then it has a page for each product. It's really nice.
All right. Awesome.
Oh,
Hey,
that's awesome.
Kiana, we all want to hear from you because you have been the queen of like following the perfect system for you had your launch and then everyone who couldn't come, you've been reaching out to and saying, why don't we meet for coffee and I'll tell you more about it. And you've been doing literally like one in-person meetup after the next and it's having great results. And you've been working me into a lot of three-way calls that's resulted in new people as well. So tell us your system, what you're saying to get the in-person meeting and how it's going.
Yeah, so thank you for that. I was actually looking at my calendar this week and I'm like, it's actually a little calmer this week than it has been these last 3 weeks. But yeah, to Kelly's point, I've just, for all the, so first, I guess I should take a step back. So I was very organized with how I was keeping up with who I was inviting. And I really just used, the list. I started out like with my own notebook and then I was like, no, there's this great tool right here in the book that you're given, that little workbook that you're given in your kit. And so I just, as people were saying yes, I would check off like, okay, great, they're coming. And for anyone that couldn't come but sounded somewhat interested, then to me, I felt like that was a great lead, if you will, to say, well, they're interested, then let's meet up for coffee or lunch or come over for wine. Because also I had too much wine, so I've been telling people to come over to my house and just have a glass of wine because I bought too much.
Yeah, that's making it expensive doing in restaurants all the time.
Yeah, so I was like, come over. We've got a front porch. Why not?
Oh, you have the cutest front porch ever.
Oh, thanks.
So cute.
So yeah, I utilized, to me, that was just easy to be able to say, okay, well, these people are interested now. Let's just get together one-on-one. So I'd get together one-on-one, or also I had people who said they could come and they ended up not making it. I used that also as an opportunity, like, oh, okay, well, I'd love to sit down and chat with you with what we went over. So that's really how my June calendar really filled up very quickly with these one-on-ones, because my launch was June 1st. So just going off of that. And then in some cases, there were a lot of people that were interested. And I'm very grateful that Kelly was so flexible to jump on a call, to talk to them further, to answer any questions they may have. So that really has been the method to my madness. I'm actually using today and tomorrow to follow up with a few people who either have been on a call with Kelly, or, you know, we walked away and they're like, yes, definitely think this is something I'd be interested in doing. And so using that time to follow up with them within the next couple of days, as well as building out for July.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the three-way calls, you guys, that's really how Emily started me in the beginning. Like every single person that, because I was clueless in the beginning, as we all are. And so until I had my own words, like jumping on that three-way, and I could hear how Emily talked about it, and all of a sudden it just, you know, the words rolled off my tongue. It's just such an easy, quick way to learn, and also to get that third party opinion. Like it really helps. It's like the person you're talking to is kind of like your mom, like half the stuff she says, it goes out the window. Whereas when you hear somebody else say it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So like having that third party validation, I think goes really, really far. And it's really how this whole company was built. I mean, if you think about this thing launched just, and then COVID hit, like they grew and grew and grew from those Zooms because they couldn't even do in-person meetups. So, you know, what is it? How almost 20,000 people now in the company is, and that was really their method to their madness. So, and then you learn and you watch and then you hear it, and then all of a sudden you can say it, and then you'll do the same thing for your people. Popping on it.
That is definitely true. When Kelly first started talking to me about things, I was like, I will never remember this. But it's not even been a month, and I find myself, I don't have all the verbiage down, but I do find myself being able to repeat naturally what Kelly has said, because I've heard it enough now. Yeah, there's some techniques that I don't have, but I mean, like the whole 80-20 China, the stems, the hemp, all that, like that all now makes sense to me. But a month ago, I was like, well, so yeah, I do think repetition, like the more you can either jump on these calls or your 8 p.m. Monday calls or set up something with Kelly, it makes me more confident beyond the fact of saying to my friends, and that's, of course, I lead with how this company has helped me personally, but then I'm able to also back it up with, here's why it works.
Totally. I love it. I love it. Good. Sherry, how about you? I know if you're off camera and you can't talk, just shoot me a message and say you can't talk, but I want to make sure everyone has to throw questions out.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm just listening. I was on a walk. I had a great week. I did a few one-on-ones and I've done a few phone calls, and I don't have all the stories that the rest of you have had, but a lot, it's like one customer at a time, right? So a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm just kind of going through my list of people and writing notes as you all are speaking. So I'm plugging along.
Yeah, you're another one who's been sponsoring like crazy. You definitely are having a lot of. I feel like you're leading with the kid a lot. Would you say that?
Well, no, I would not say that. But anyways, just a lot of positivity, and hopefully by next month I'll have a lot more successes to share.
Yeah, you've definitely got a lot of momentum. I feel like you've got a lot of feelers out there. So plugging in like Kiana's one-on-one meetups or Amy's follow-up. She's so right. Y'all, follow-up is everything in this. How many times have you wanted to get something and then you just forget about it because life gets busy? And so it's our job as like the professionals to follow up with someone and say, hey, I know you mentioned that you were interested in trying this. Let me know. I can place it for you if that's easier. Just shoot me a message and let me know, here's my link again. That sort of follow up.
Right.
It's almost always the person has just forgotten, or they went to go do it and something came up, a child called their name and they had to go in the other room or whatever, so that follow up is really key.
And hey, Kelly, can I add, and to that point, just like you can easily get distracted because a kid may call your name, I also have found myself on my calendar. I'm normally like on my phone keeping dates, but now I literally went to Staples and I bought a physical calendar because of but the reason I did that is because I found myself like, oh, I'm meeting with all these people, but forgetting like, what did I say I was going to do with them? Like, oh, I wanted to send them this, or they want me to follow up with them in a week. So I just now have just like a green compass calendar where I put down like, okay, today I'm going to reach out or follow back up with this person, or I told her I would send her this link in case I didn't do it in the moment or whatever. I mean, maybe other people's brain cells work just fine, but my memory sometimes is not the best.
Oh, if I don't write it down, it's not going to happen. Like I will have the best person in mind and I'm in my car. If I don't immediately like say it into like a voice text or somehow get it written down, I get home and I'm like, who was that again? It was like the best potential ever. And I'm like, it's gone. Yeah, we're all busy people and it's very easy to, that's having a system, whatever your system is, you have a system in place. That's kind of like my little post I did about this Zoom, you guys, about the being, consistent in the summertime. I by no means meant like everyone needs to get on when they're on vacation. Go on vacation, enjoy yourself. But I've had, I'm going to be in and out all summer long. And I know that if it's kind of like working out, it's like, Carol, you were talking about eating healthy. If you don't do it at all, like everything's going to come to a standstill with your business. It's like if you just choose the whole summer and be like, okay, I'm busy with the kids, I'm busy, we're going in and out of town, just figure out what you want and then back into that goal. Like, so if you're like, this is what I want to maintain this summer, here's what I want to hit this summer, and then just back into those goals and pick a day. Like for me, Monday is going to be a big working day during the summertime because it's a Monday. Like nothing that fun is happening on a Monday. So if I sit down and I'm like committed to my 10-5-2, which means 10 new people every single Monday, if you did that, it'll take 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes is nothing in a week schedule. And then throughout the week, you can have those conversations and follow up with people, but it's just getting a system in place and get a system in place that's going to allow for all the fun. Like Amy, you've totally been grinding and like going all in. And she's like, well, I've got all these graduation parties. I'm like, Stop working and go to the graduation parties. Go have fun. Because you got to have the balance, but you also have to kind of show up for your business if you want your business to continue to grow. Hey, Carrie, you home from carpool? All right, catch us up on all the things.
Oh, let's see. So last week, I guess it was Friday, I did, oh my God, these bugs are not even working. Last Friday, I did a little pop-up at an assisted living home. It was the big goose egg, but that's okay. Got me organized. I think, for that crew, someone had asked me to come. So in that particular case, I think the line was just, a little too expensive, but I had the pain creams out there and was able to hand out some business cards and things like that. So you never know what will come from that. But I'm just sort of thinking about how I'm going to go around and potentially do some events in different places wherever I'm going to be this summer. So we're heading out to Tahoe to visit some friends, and I might try to do a little pop-up out there, or just have some friends over for a little hour. Green Cup is social, why not? And then Leslie's out there too on my team, and I'm hoping that we could get one going for her too, so I can do that out there. So I'm just trying to plan out the summer. There's a little farmer's market near this place that we always go to every summer. And so I might pop in there for their Wednesday afternoons, so doing putting some little events on the plan, I think is great. But we were just down in Newport this past weekend, and I just love being able to carry the business wherever I go. So talking with this woman, I'd never met her before, but she was friends of friends, and we're talking about all different things. And she's a school tutor, or actually she has her own business now. So she's tutoring all these kids either in person or online. And so we were talking a lot about ADD and focus and all that sort of stuff. So she's extremely interested in the jellies and just the whole process. And so it's just nice to have, as we all know, that's why we're doing this business. It's just an easy conversation. It fits in so many different places. And so I didn't feel like I was having to do a hardcore sell. It was just easy to chat about, and just using the tools, using those videos and sending off some links. I think it's fantastic. So again, it's really like you were saying, Kelly, in the post, it's really all about consistency. If we can just not overthink it so much. And I think all of you on this call are doing exactly that. You're being consistent, which is great. And then it just makes life fun and the business fun and simple. And I think it seems really duplicatable for other people. So I've met up with some people one-to-one for people who are interested in products. Still a lot of really scared people out there about CBD. It's a scary thing. So, but I understand. I mean, I had never taken it before either, but so that's fun to sort of help them along. And I'm really trying to be specific about reaching out to people who I think might be interested in this business opportunity, because I feel like we are in such a great space right now. So people who've been either in this industry before or in sales, or maybe looking for something new. I really am trying to reach out to at least a couple of those people every single day, so that I'm getting to the 10 a week. So that's the deal.
I love it. You're the perfect example of doing this on the go and blending it into your life, and not working, your life around work. You're working it around your life. And yeah. You're so right. It's funny how we always think that summertime is going to maybe slow down our business, and it's probably just in our own head, because we're actually around probably a lot more people in the summer than we are during the regular year.
It's such a social time.
It's very
social. And if you have, a few things in your bag, whether it's little samples or your pain cream or whatever, and stuff comes up and you get yourself ready. You have your card, your virtual card in your phone that you can send off. You can meet so many new people and start the conversation. So I think really sort of honing in on a little bit of your story, but I think once you start talking about it more, you realize how easy it is just to get the words out, and it just flows. It just comes. So
totally.
Good time to do it.
Yeah. So who's using social media? How are y'all using social media? Because I think that's another way. I did the thing about the dog treats for 4th of July last week, and got 2 orders from one story. Okay. So how are you? My opinion is post one item at a time. I think show a story. Allison Fuller is really big on your stories making sense, not just being this, that all over the place. Kind of build up a story. So, I could show my dogs running around the yard here at the beach and be like, oh my gosh, forgot my pet treats. 4th of July is next week. Placing an order right now. So glad it's coming straight from Wilmington, or something like that. Build a story and then kind of show the images for that specific thing. And I notice that when I do share one thing at a time, not necessarily you can post different things in different stories, but like share a product, why you use it kind of thing. I think that's kind of my philosophy on it now. But what about you guys? Because I know a lot of you are doing fun different things. Like what is the most likely to bring in an order or start a conversation? What kind of post have you done?
I post my high school picture.
Oh, I love that. That was so cute. I love with her hair. She did the big 80s hair.
I said if you had hair like me in high school, you probably need CBD and collagen. and then I said, here's why. And then I posted just the CBD and then just the collagen. And it was really, I got a lot of reaction from it. It was really funny.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, it was funny.
I'm going to have to go find a big hair picture of myself. I think that's brilliant.
It was really funny.
That is awesome. All right. What else? Who else has done something on social media that's gotten a reaction? And Allison Carl, I know you said you're in listen only mode. I don't know if you can share what you're doing, but you've had so much success. I know you're $1,500 away from a huge, huge promotion. Is there anything you can share about what you're doing right now?
Actually, I'm at the girl's house. I just pulled up. We launched her last week, and she's out of town in Colorado. So there's been such a good reaction from her show, which we didn't get a ton of sales there. But what I've found is just following up with people. People have had time to think about it. They've absorbed what we told them. And now I'm going to drop off like some dog treats, and I placed an order this morning helped her place an order this morning. So it's just really about just like planting the seeds. And and now that I've been doing this about 6 or 7 months, I've found that some of those seeds I planted a while back are starting to come around. Do you know what I mean? So like, I just had a girl go on auto ship and last month. And she had been one that had been thinking about it for several months. And then this morning she sent me a message. She's like, all right, my husband wants a bottle too. Put him on the auto ship. Mm-hmm. So I'm just noticing that people are just loving the product so much. I'm getting a lot of referrals, friends of friends that, you know, want quality CBD, and maybe they've been taking it already, or maybe they haven't tried it before. But like this morning, I had like 6 messages. I woke up and it was like all these questions and just like fun activity. And I think it's just been from talking about it and planting the seeds all these months. It's just sort of starting to all like fall together. So I think sometimes you think, oh, wait, I'm not doing much, you know, I'm not seeing any action, but those things that you're talking about now, I think will come back in a couple months and it'll pay off. So I'm just always trying to talk about it, follow up. And I'm really trying to launch my new advocates with the show. You know, like we'll get together, like we had a Botox, they're a makeup girl, and then I was there, you know, doing the CBD for her. And it was just so fun, and everybody's ready to get out of the house. And so with every new girl, I'm trying to have them, you know, do a launch party. I think that's really gets them off on the right foot.
Totally. And your volume is totally reflecting that. And the fact that you're taking the time for the people who are local to you to show up with them, to kind of, you know, walk them through the process, to help them do that. And then they can see you in action, and then they can replicate that. Like, it is funny how we learn. If we see somebody do something or hear somebody say something, we're more likely to do it ourselves. And so it's just absorbing. Like Kiana said, every time you hear it, you just absorb it. So it's like now you're creating this system where they can now do that with their people, and they can do it with their people. So you're making it very duplicatable.
I have a question on the skincare. I ran out of my usual skin cleanser, and I had ordered it, hadn't come. So I went back and I opened the Green Compass, the cleanser. I tell you guys, the stuff is like magic. What the heck? I mean, CBD, is anybody using it, the skincare?
My daughter loves it.
Oh my God. I'm like amazed to take.
My daughter, I bought it just to try it all, and she like swiped it all.
So I love the pads, and I'll be fully honest, I haven't used the cleanser yet because I'm kind of addicted to another brand of cleanser. And I was just thinking I really need to start using the cleanser. But Amy, to your point, my son the other day was like, hey, I ran out of CeraVe. And I'm like, I should give him our milk cleanser and see how it works for them.
She has like breakouts, and her skin is so clear right now. It's crazy. I mean, she's using a mixture of that and another brand that she likes, but she's been using it, and I mean, her skin looks great. So
I'm telling you, I was like, I mean, I use the collagen, I use good skincare. I mean, my diet, I try to be as clear as I can. I just turned 72, so I am like totally like knowing the aging process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know like the jowls and all this stuff, but I was like, I've been using the cleanser now for like a solid week, and I saw a huge difference.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna start using it when I get home.
I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to come out with a moist. I didn't love the peel pads are okay.
I like those.
Oh, I like those.
I like those. Do you leave it on? Do you leave it on for a while?
I leave it on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, what, the peel pads?
Yeah.
What do you mean you leave it on? You wipe it and you just
Totally. So I was thinking it was more like the peel pads where you wipe it, you put it all over, and then this is different. This is alpha hydroxy acid. So you just rub it on. It's not about like sitting there and like sloughing off all the dead skin. You rub it on and then leave it for like 5 minutes, and then you rinse it off and then put on your moisturizer.
Oh, you rinse it?
Yeah, you rinse it off.
Oh, okay, good to know. All right, I'm gonna try it. What the heck? I might as well.
You treat it more like a treatment rather than a peel pad. Because I think all of us coming from the ever world, the peel pads are meant to like slough off all the dead skin, and I think it does that. But I think the chemicals are what do it. The alpha hydroxy acid is what gets down that layer. Rinse it, and then your serums will just sink right in.
Oh, good to know.
I didn't rinse it off yesterday, and my face kind of burned all day.
So every once in a while I'll sleep in it overnight, and I think Allison Fuller does the same thing, and it's been fine. But yeah, it's I only use it like every other night, but I've noticed a big difference. But yeah,
but I feel like my skin looks good today.
Yeah, it does. It totally they work great. They're actually our number one seller with skincare, and I think we're going to see that continue to evolve. Which, by the way, are you also excited to see what the new product's going to be for Seed Summit? I'm so excited. I'm wondering if it's more skincare, because that's what Meredith did before she did this. That was her world. And in the anti-inflammation properties of CBD, I mean, inflammation is what causes all of our skin problems. It's what causes breakouts. It's what causes aging. So I think if we can get good skincare with CBD in it, I think it could be really popular.
So one of my reps is a Juvederm rep. She sells Juvederm or one of the fillers. I think she was with Juvederm. Now she's with another one. And she was so impressed on the 3 acids that were in those peel pads. And that she's been pushing this with all of like her derms and stuff, because she says it's an amazing like combination of whatever's in those peel pads. That and she's been selling it to friends because of acne, like for kids' acne on their back. She's like, if you use it once or twice, the acne's gone. So I was impressed by that. She's so knowledgeable with that kind of thing. So
I totally agree, and I love hearing it from like actually a professional that does it. But I have 3 teenage boys, and the back acne is like they're sweating all the time. They're constantly playing sports. So yeah, they actually come to me. They're like, "Can you rub this on my back real quick?" And I'll rub it on and just leave it on there.
I have a question about the moisturizer though. Have you guys been using the moisturizer? Because I've used it and I'm not that impressed. It doesn't seem that moisturizing. And I mean, I'm almost 60, so I don't know if it's because I have older skin, but I'm just wondering what you think about the moisturizer.
Who has used it? Who's used the peptide cream? Oh, Amy, what do you think?
So I used the peptide cream before my daughter snatched it. I like to add more oil to almost every moisturizer I use. So I actually have I have other oils that I use personally, and I did add a drop or 2, but other than that, I did like it. She does have another moisturizer too that she kind of alternates with for it. So I can ask her what the difference is, but I didn't dislike it. I always add extra moisture. I use a toner and then use a moisturizer and an oil in the morning and at night. So.
Right. I think, well, part of it is I was reading the directions and they say not only to use it, but then to use another moisturizer on top of it, which is what I've been doing. So I figured it was probably helpful having CBD in it, but it's to me, it's not moisturizing enough on its own.
So wait, is it say it's a moisturizer or is it a serum? I know I should probably know, but
Some-
I'm
I
really,
I think it's a
moisturizer.
moisturizer. The serum is not anywhere in the description. So I think it's meant to be like, maybe like, but you're right. Like the first layer where you might normally put a serum on and then the moisturizer, you definitely need, or I need something else in addition to that.
yeah. I think it probably depends on how dry your skin is too. I like a really good thick moisturizer as well. Even though I've actually got pretty oily skin, I like it to be very, very moisturizing as well. But I remember Emily telling me a while back that all the products she uses, like with skincare, she adds a couple of drops of the CBD oil to it, which really, really helps with the inflammation. So you can add that and put that on your skin. And it's very, very, yeah.
Which oil?
What's your oil?
Just any of the CBD oils. So you might not want to smell like mint, or you might want to use like the natural one, but you could add a couple of drops.
Oh,
Interesting.
I have a
Okay,
question
yeah, go for it.
not pertaining to skincare unless someone else has a question about skincare.
No, go for it.
It's regarding the end of the month. So this is really the first end of the month where, or starting for me anyway, all my auto ship orders will be repeating come in a couple of days or the end of this week. And so I was just curious. I mean, some of you may have way too many to reach out to all your PCs, but is there any tactic or method that you all use at the end of the month in terms of, hey, your auto ship is about to come, or do you not say anything? Just interested in any end of the month techniques, do's and don'ts.
I can speak to, I mean, I had new ones. So last month, I started last month, probably mid-month, around the 20th, actually, I started. And I had a few people that had either, they had auto ships. And I reached out to them and asked them how they were doing, and just to let them know their auto ship was coming up, and seeing if there was, reminding them if they wanted to modify it, to make sure they modify it. They can always add extra. And almost everyone added extra stuff. I was blown away. I was really, and they asked me, this was great, what do you recommend? Or they changed something up. But I mean, honestly, I had a good pull through on preferred customers, which I've been with other companies and I've never had that experience before. So, I mean, there were people that ordered on a regular basis, but not like this. This is crazy. So
I was thinking about, because it was the 1st of June when we did the launch, I had maybe at least 3 Father's Day bundles orders.
yeah.
And one, I'd imagine, because there is a pain bundle, but it's not discounted since it's past the 19th now. So yeah, I was like, I wonder if these people have even thought about the fact that they're going to get another pain bundle. So that's why I was thinking these are people I definitely should reach out to.
What did it say in the fine print about the Father's Day bundle? Because that was supposed to be just a one-time thing, so they're not going to get another one of those.
Okay.
That was a special that ended at the end of, right? Has anyone read the fine print on the Father's Day bundle? What it does next month?
I don't know.
Was it even on auto ship? I don't even think it was on auto ship, right?
So I have a.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, you tell me.
I just noticed this morning, so I went in to try to change like an auto ship order, and it was going to be for July. And in the auto ship order, it had the pain or the metabolism boost. So I thought that was strange. Do you think it'll just go away in July when that promotion's over with? Or I don't know. It just.
Which promotion?
The metabolism boost that you get right now when you spend a certain amount of money for free.
So it's going to be a different boost every month. So it probably just hasn't auto switched over in the system yet.
Oh, okay.
Each month of the summer gets a different free boost with your order.
So I was just curious if if when that goes away, if that promotion will stay and then they'll be charged for it. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't know.
I can't imagine that it would, because you didn't manually add that. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you manually
Right.
added something, I think it would stay on the auto ship. but I think because it's auto added for the special, I can't imagine that would happen.
Even auto ship people get that in their order.
Yes, current auto
Okay.
ship orders all got that this month. Like if they could have set up their auto ship 6 months ago, and if they spent over $100 out of pocket, then they got it.
That's
I
awesome
had a
that
couple
they do
people
that.
that, just so everyone knows, I had a couple people that were retail last month and then switched to preferred this month. And for some reason, the metabolism boost didn't go out with their order. So I just called customer service and they sent one. So
Oh, okay.
definitely, if you have anyone that converted from retail to preferred, make sure you check their order.
Yeah. And I've noticed I have a lot of people that are just on auto ship for the jellies, and that's 95. So that's not going to get them there. So that's actually a good reason to reach out and be like, hey, is there anything we want to tack on your order to get this free boost? But Kiana, to answer your question, I think Amy's so right. I think the better customer service you have and the more you reach out potentially, I think it's only going to add in like, hey, I wanted to see if you saw these new digestive jellies, your auto ship order, we would need to edit it if there's anything you want to add in the next day or two. And you probably need to do it now because you can't edit an auto ship more than if it's 3 days before it ships. Right? Because Allison, you tried to add something. Allison Carr, you said you tried to add something this morning, right? And it was too late.
Yeah, I tried to add something this morning to an auto ship to be shipped out like tomorrow because I wanted it to go towards this month's numbers. And it cuts off on the 25th.
Okay. Yeah. So keep that in mind too. Yeah. You can edit someone's auto ship up to 3 days beforehand.
Okay. Because I think all of mine were entered on the 2nd. So
yeah. So you got a little bit of wiggle room.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can, but I think it's all, and I'm so with you. Like I was that person back in the day that was like, if I reach out, they're going to cancel it. You know what I mean? When in reality it's like, if you show them that you are their person and you're going to take good care of them no matter what, it just will come back to you in spades. I always loved when something went wrong because then I could like take really, really, really good care of that client and go in above and beyond for them. And then they were clients for life. Like it was almost like always when something didn't ship or something got added and they shouldn't have. And I'm like, I've got it. Don't worry about it. I'm so sorry about that. I'm taking care of it right now for you. They know that you've always got their back like that. They're going to come back with you again and again.
So I have a question actually. What do you recommend for people who have auto ships that are close to Seed Summit? Do you obviously we're going to have new products. So do you tell them that or what do you recommend?
I wouldn't. You don't want anyone pushing off their order. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think once the new product comes out, that's a whole nother reason to shop and they can place a second order if they don't want to wait for it. But yeah, I always err on the side of don't ever do anything that's going to stop an order.
I agree. Okay.
And I did notice, you guys, the 1-2 free, I used to think that if you bumped it out to buy monthly, as long as you kept the auto ship going, that you get the free shipping. But I noticed I've started paying shipping on the ones that I went to buy monthly on. So something has to ship every month it doesn't have to be that same value, but as long as something ships on that monthly time period, then you maintain that free shipping. So I just caught that on my own order. I was like, why am I paying for shipping for this? And it was because I went to buy monthly.
So in other words, if you paused for a month and picked up again, that wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know if that was correct, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened to mine. And so I assumed, and I remember Emily saying that a long time ago. I think she said, as long as something ships, then you maintain it. So it could be like a bath bomb. But as long as something ships, you maintain the free shipping.
So it's definitely important for PCs to order something their first 3 months.
Totally.
And then after the 3rd month, then could they pause or?
Well, it's the third order on. We probably need clarification on that because I was looking at that and I was like, yeah, it seems like if bi-monthly is an option that you would be able to continue getting the free shipping on that. I'll do a little research and find out exactly what that was. But I did notice I was paying free shipping on an auto ship that I've had set up for a very, very long time. So yeah. And that 1-2 free is definitely a reason for people to continue to shop. And I think what you can say to someone who is like, oh, but I'm not ready for that yet, be like, oh, okay, so what other products were you interested in trying? Because, like, did you see the new digestive jellies? Did you see, I know you were curious about the collagen. And that's really when I look at a lot of the women who've been with this company for a long time that are consistently kind of building their auto ships. They might have started with just the nano jellies, and then they add in the full spectrum at night, and then they add in the collagen. So I think getting somebody really loving one specific product is a great foot in the door to then open up all of these other great products. You know, reaching out to somebody who's on auto ship and say, hey, did you see this just came out? I think that's really, really good customer service. I wanted to make sure you didn't miss this. And they're like, oh, that looks good. Actually, can we add that to my order? That goes really far.
Or the dog treats.
Or the dog treats. Totally. Coming up.
Kelly, will you share the link for the dog for the 4th of July thing?
Oh, like a picture, you mean? Or like an image? Yeah, I'll shoot you guys over a couple of images. I think I actually did that on the team page this morning. There's a really cute picture.
It's there. It's on there.
Yeah, it's Cheryl, if you look on the team page this morning, I posted 2 pictures. One's the dog with the treats, and then one is the firework picture showing like a scared dog with fireworks right there.
What are you gonna say with that on your Insta story?
So I did one last week and got 2 orders just from the one post. And then this morning, I'm going to show a picture of my dog. I'm going to show a video of them running around the yard here and be like, oh, shoot, forgot to bring my CBD pet treats with me. Ordering now to make sure they get in here in time for 4th of July. And then show another picture of the dog scared by the fireworks.
That's cute.
Yeah. So I think anytime you can show your own dogs, like people love that. It's funny. I was going through my reels and looking at, this is totally off topic, but I was looking at like what got the most views. If my dogs were in the reel, they got like 500 times more views than people. So there's a lot of dog lovers out there.
Oh yeah.
So use your own pets. Okay. Anything else you guys can think of?
I have a question or want to ask y'all's opinion. So Kelly, don't kill me because I haven't yet done this, but you know, I've had all these ideas of, oh, I'm going to post this, and I haven't done it. So, and I really think it'd be a great idea to post about the CBD treats for dogs, but at the same time, I've posted absolutely nothing about the CBD space and myself. So thinking maybe not out the gate, a good idea for me to post about dog treats and CBD.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's funny. You know that No Shame Sales Game girl? She is so good, by the way. If you don't follow her, go follow her. She does a lot of like good, you know, a lot of the little things that can trip people up in this business. And one thing she said was, if you're MIA on social media, you don't need a post reintroducing yourself to social media. You don't need to say like, oh, I'm so sorry, I've been gone, I've been MIA, or I've been this, or I've been that. She's like, just start posting again. She's like, people aren't following us that closely to know what you're posting and not posting. So I do think doing a little bit of a welcome post, if you haven't done that yet, Amy has a great one. Go look at Amy's. I think going and doing like one general one, like on your Facebook profile or your Instagram, like a post, but then just start sharing in the stories. Like, don't overthink it. It's no one is paying that close attention to what we're doing that they're going to be like, oh, that's random. You could be like, I'm so glad I have these pet treats for 4th of July coming up. My dog is scared to death of lightning or fireworks. You know what I mean? Don't overthink it. People aren't that in tune with what we're doing every single day. For all they know, they missed your post, you know?
Touche. Good point. Thanks.
Yes, Melissa.
Sorry, I have something to add on to that because I'm the overthinker too. I literally have written it out like 20 times because, you know, everybody follows me and they want to know what I'm doing in my mind. But one thing I would love to kind of, maybe someone knows the best place to steer towards this. I have been away from social media in the fact that I'm not up on a lot of the new like image emoji, you know, in the stories. And I feel like I read my friends' stories more, kind of like with attraction marketing, where they have more of that little bit of, you know, emoji images within the story. For some reason, I tend to follow those and read those more than I do just random words.
Okay, so give me an example, like a picture, like a.
But like, no, like where, you know, where they're talking about something that's going on in their life. But as an example here, you know, like Kristen did one this morning too with a little leaf in it, you know, for natural, or just those little tiny.
Visually more appealing, the graphics that you see in those
right.
stories.
So not pictures, but like the verbiage with little tags in it. Either there's like a unicorn or a rainbow, there's the happy face, there's a
Emojis.
You know, all different little things. Yeah, they're emojis, but like it's taken to another level where it's not just the faces, it's the,
I know. Yeah.
So
and
where,
I don't,
where did Kristen post it? I need a visual of this. It's not on her Insta stories. It's on her.
sorry to throw you out there, Kristen.
When did is it on her stories right now?
Where did you,
No, I'll have to look to see. I think it went away already. So yeah, I don't think it was on my stories. I think it was just a post to some friends or whatever. Yeah, what did I do?
Okay.
But I just use like the little leaf thing for CBD, and always a green heart and the stars and the this or that or whatever. So
right,
I
and
don't
that's,
know.
and the
Something
No
like
Shame
this.
sales game, girl, she
Oh,
does
that's
it a
cute.
lot with
Yeah.
her
Like
attraction
this is
marketing.
sorry, is this what you mean? Like this is my friend, she's working out and she has like this little graphic there at the bottom. Just
No,
kidding.
more of the actual verbiage stories, like when they're not on Insta, but like more of Facebook and stuff, where they're actually telling kind of what they're going through. It's part of the attraction marketing philosophy, where if you're using a lot of verbiage to kind of talk and throw out what you're doing, it's not just words. It has like little. Let me see if I can find something.
So you're talking about a pure post, like just putting emojis in. Yeah, I think
Right.
you want to draw people like you. You know what I mean? That's really who follows you on social media, the people that are drawn to you. And so if what draws you in is seeing the emojis, then do the emojis, you know?
Well, I just find that I tend to read, if it's longer,
Yeah.
I tend to read those, but I just don't know how to throw all that in there.
Oh, so you don't know how to like get them to throw them in?
Well, I know how to get them, but like I never know which, like, you know, let me see if I can get where, you know, like in hers here.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Ish.
she always puts like little random things here. I have another friend that does it a lot too, that's in a different company.
Does anyone have an idea like how to do those? Like what she's asking?
The emojis, like,
Just a text, same as you would in a text message.
Well,
yeah,
right.
well,
I guess, I mean, I know how to put them in. It's just what to use and when to use, because I feel like it's more of a strategic plan with the way that theirs come off. It's very strategically done.
Yeah.
Versus just like when I'm sending a text to somebody and, you know, let me find Kelly.
Okay. Yeah, send me a text real quick. Yeah, I use the leaf one a ton. Like, and I say let's grow a lot. There's a lot of green compass verbiage that I've picked up. So instead of let's go, let's grow, and then do a couple of the pictures. But yeah, I love this idea. You know what I do too? Whenever and I've been doing this with reels, I've been saving the audio that I really like, or like taking snapshots of people's reels that I really like, so that when I am ready to do one, I can go back and refer to those.
I do that too. Yeah.
So I would do the same thing with the emojis. Like when you see one that you think is very visually appealing, take a picture of it so you have like a little library. And then when you go to do one, you can reference back to them.
Okay.
Did you just send me something? Okay. I didn't see anything come through yet.
I have got to go, but thank you all.
Yes, I actually probably need to go soon too. Does anyone else have any other burning questions? All right, y'all, I'm here. I am like at the beach, but this is not really vacation for me. I'm just kind of, working from here right now. So whoever needs anything, whatever goal you're going for, loop me in. I am here. Oh my gosh, Allison Carl, totally cheering you on. Kristen cheering you on for Cabo. And then everybody else, whatever you're going for. Is anyone going for a promotion that I need, like that you want to strategize about or talk about? Whatever it is, whatever your goal is that you're shooting for, please link me in and use me however you need me. Sound good? All right, Melissa,
Thank you.
text with the emoji. Okay. All right, bye guys.
Bye, thank you.